Alright, in this video we're going to be texturing our power strip. So what I'm going to do here is just duplicate this locked layer and rename it to UVs. And I want to get a background texture going on here to cover the entire surface area across all of the UVs. So I'm going to take this image here and I'm going to grab an area like this, copy, see if I can get that a little bigger. Copy that, and come over to the power strip, paste it. Let's try to get this to scale of how it would actually be. It's just too big. Okay, I'm just going to hit Control J, duplicate this a few times. Alright. Duplicate it over here. It doesn't really matter so much, although I'm creating a little bit more work for myself, but okay, I'm going to hide the UVs layer, and I'm just going to hit Control-Shift-E to merge all visible layers. And then I'm going to use the paint, or the heal and brush tool. I'm going to turn up the diameter, and let's see, I want that to be a little bit bigger, 70. Okay, I'm going to press Alt to sample an area, and then paint over another area. Okay, so this should be fairly quick to get this to look decent. Okay, I'm just going to cover up all those seams. Alright, now I'm just going to try to create a little bit of variation. I'm going to turn up the size to about 157. And then I'm just going to try to create a little variation here. Sample in areas, and then using the healing tool over other areas. Alright, one thing I do want is for this to look a little bit whiter. So I'm going to go under Image Adjustments, and I'm going to go under, I think, Hue and Saturation here. Let's keep that at 0. Saturation. I'm going to decrease that. So I'm going to kind of desaturate this a little to about negative 35. Okay. Alright, now I'm just going to get our UVs back in here by turning down the opacity of this layer here and making the UVs visible. Alright, so these areas here are actually where the outlets are going to be based on our model here. If we looked at where those UVs were, we would see it's a similar shape. That's where they are. So I'm just going to see. I think I have it open in here. Not that one. This one. Okay. This plugin here. I'm going to copy this little area, and then I'm going to paste that in here, which it is huge, which is fine. I can just scale it down to the appropriate size. Then Okay, I'm going to turn off auto select layer. Don't want that on for now. Scale this down a little more. Put it right about there. Scale it down some more. Scale it up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, now I'm just going to use the eraser tool here and change the brush to a smoother fall off. Just like that. Then I'll use a heal and brush tool in a second once I turn the opacity of layer 1 here to 100% and bring this on top of this layer. Hit Control Shift E to merge all visible layers, and then what I'm going to do is turn down my heal and brush diameter to about 15, and then I'm going to start touching this up a little bit. Okay. Just like that. I can also change the mode to replace. So I can try to force more of that whiter type color into that area. And then I'll go back to the normal mode like this. Okay, that should look fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our UVs displayed back here, and what I'm going to do is just copy this area again on layer 1. Well, let's see, I'm going to copy that area. I'm going to actually, I suppose that's centered enough. So yeah, I'm just going to copy that area, then hit Control V, that's going to create a new layer. And then I can start putting this inside of the plugin UV areas. Hit Control J to copy that, to duplicate that layer. Control J again, and just move them to those areas. Control J. Alright. Now I'm going to hide my UVs. Hide the, well actually I need to turn up my layer 1 opacity to 100%. Then hit Control Shift E. That's going to merge all visible layers. And now I'm just going to use the heal and brush tool and remove these ugly looking borders like that from there. And then I have about 4 more to go. Just like that, so pretty easy. There's probably some faster ways to do this, but we're just going to be doing it this way. Okay, 2 more. Let's just fix this one up here. Select way up here and just sample that area. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to make my UVs layer visible again, turn down the opacity of this layer. Let's take a look at our texture and pictures that I set up here. Alright, so we basically have the plugin dealt with, and we've got that background type texture worked into here. Now I just got to throw in this side image, and I'm going to grab just this area right there, copy that, paste it, scale it down. Now this here, these UVs on either side, right there if you can see that, is, if we look at our model, it's this side and this side. And if we look at our reference images, we've got this little line that runs across the model in this picture. So I'm trying to create that, and I pinpointed the UVs to be here and here. So I'm just going to rotate this like that. And I'm going to hit Control J to copy that. And Control J again. You know what I could do is, I'm just going to stretch this across because it's not going to really make any difference with how it looks. And then I'm also going to go Image Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, desaturate this quite a bit. Alright. I'm going to copy this, Control J to duplicate that layer, bring it about over to there. And then I want to delete that area so it's not overlapping other UVs. Okay, hide my UVs, make sure the opacity is 100% on these. Control Shift E to merge all visible layers. Then what I'm going to do is just grab this edge right there, use the patch tool, or I must have hit undo. Control Shift E to merge all visible layers again, use the rectangular selection tool, and I'm just going to select up to about there. Might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm just trying to blend this little line into the image. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is, let's see if I got my history window here. Let's go Windows, look for history. And then I'm going to delete some of these changes, get our layers back here. Alright, I'm just going to delete that one and work with this. I'm going to completely desaturate it. Adjustments, hue and saturation. Saturation completely off like that. Then I'm going to bring it to about there. Delete. Let's go back up to the top. I just want it to be really just a dark line. Okay, just like that. Go back into hue and saturation. I guess we can't really make any... Okay, I'm just going to turn down the lightness, and that's going to give us the effect that I need. Alright, and then I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to turn down the opacity of this layer, make the UVs visible, and I'm going to move this layer over to this side like that. Okay, and I think what we're going to do next here is turn the opacity to 100%, hide the UVs layer, and just save this out. Has PowerStrip UVs.psd, and I'm going to load this into Maya. See if this looks right. Open up the Hypershade. Oh, nope, not that file. Reload. Or let's see. It's in drive D. And it's called what? What did I call it? PowerStrip UVs. PowerStrip UVs.psd. Okay, open that up. Apply it to the model. Okay. Now I just need to get this line to go across here and across here. So if I select this face and look in our UV image editor here, it's right over there. Back into Photoshop, make this visible. That's where it is. Right there, that's the UV. I'm going to copy that line layer here again, duplicate it, bring it to about there, make everything visible, remove some of that, Control-Shift-S to save that. I'm just going to reload the texture. Okay, I need to drop that down a little bit, one end or another. Reload it. Well, apparently it's not going to align perfectly, but that should do the trick. Alright, so on this side, I'm going to select this face here. And this edge, what we need to do is right to the left of those UVs. So right to the left of this. So I'm going to turn down the opacity of this. I'm going to take this line there and then just move this over to about here. And then I'm going to hit Control-Shift-S, hit reload, and I need to drop this down a little. Let's see how that looks. That is the right direction. So just making adjustments between Maya and Photoshop. Save that again, reload it, and one more to the left, save, reload. There it is. Looks pretty close. Okay, I'm going to hide my UVs, turn this layer up to 100% opacity, save, reload it. Okay, so that pretty much goes all the way around. And now I just need to get one more thing I think here, which isn't totally necessary, but I'm going to do it. So let's see. Back into Photoshop, look at our reference images. Texture and ones here. Text. There was this text here on the back of the power strip. So, I'm going to get this onto our model. Okay. Now, if I take a look at the oh, I'm going to have to move away from my chair and grab the power strip. Now, this text here is actually near the, let's see, the model. It's near this side right here. Okay, so right beneath that button up here is where that text is. Okay, so back into Photoshop. Well, back into Maya actually. Let's select this face here and see where this is at. Okay. Hide that layer, show the UVs layer. Where is that exactly? Okay. It's right there. Scale this down so it will fit about in there. Scale it up a little bit more. Zoom into there. Let's get this layer visible here. Turn down the opacity a little bit though. Okay, this layer. I'm going to scale it down. Scale it down a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to hide the UVs layer. Turn this layer up to 100% opacity. Use the Heal and Brush tool after I merge all these layers. Make sure you have 100% opacity set because it's going to merge the opacity when you hit Control-Shift-E to merge all visible layers. Okay. So I'm just trying to fix up these edges so it sort of blends in a little bit better. Like that. Alright. That might look fine. Let's delete that last change I made there. Control-Shift-E, save that out. Back into Maya and reload this. Alright. So, that is where it should be. Alright, that's pretty much it for this video on texturing this power strip here, and that's how it looks. Not perfect, but not terrible. Does definitely look like a power strip. So that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and thumbs up this video if you liked it.